I've done a few other videos for YouTube, and considering there's about 4 inches of snow on the ground currently here in the state of Missouri, I wanted to do one on just the basics of what you'll need for metal detecting. I mean, obviously you're going to need your metal detector. Now, I use a Teknetics brand metal detector, the Delta 4000. It's worked great for me. I've had no problems with it. One of these days I might upgrade to a T2, but for right now that's the one that I'm using. Also, pinpointers. If you want to use a pinpointer, that's fine. It's not something that's mandatory in order to go metal detecting. Something that you will need, though, once you find something, is a shovel. Now, you can pick up like a camp shovel or an entrenching tool or something like that at a surplus supply store. I've got like a 20-inch, this was a 20-inch utility shovel that I picked up at one of the local hardware stores. I may have got it at like Walmart or something like that. But that's the kind of shovel you'll need. You're not wanting to dig up, an entire place. And you'll also need a few other things. You'll also need a smaller shovel. Now this one I picked up at, there's ones that you can buy online for like 30 bucks. I think I picked this one up for like $10 at one of the local hardware stores. It's got a serrated edge on the one side and also has the notched end on it. It's made by Stanley, and none of these are sponsors or anything, but it also comes with a sheath that's got a big loop on the side of it, so for whatever belt you're using, this will fit on there perfectly. That way you'll be able to dig, once you got the plug removed, you'll be able to dig some of the smaller pieces out of there. Another thing that you're going to need is gloves. Now, I've got these gloves here, but I've also got some other gloves like these that have the neoprene sides on it, and it also has the cloth backing. Makes it a lot cooler when you're digging during the summer. You're definitely going to need some of those because you want to make sure that you don't cut your fingers. You might have got an old bottle cap with a metal ring around the top of it, or a wine bottle or something that's been broken, and your metal detector is picking up that ring. You don't want to be digging around in there with your fingers. You want to use your small shovel as much as possible, and then be able to dig that out with your fingers without getting cut. So you're definitely going to need some gloves, leather gloves, gardening gloves, whatever kind of thing you want there as well. And then once you get it out, you're going to want to clean it up. What I have done is I have a broken paintbrush. It's just an 1.5 inch paintbrush, and you can use that for cleaning it. It's soft enough that you can use it for cleaning off things. If you really need to keep the bristles together to make it more stiff, just slide your hand up on it, and then you can make it a lot easier to clean off coins and whatever else that you may find. The next thing that you're going to need is a trash bag. Just anything will do. That way you can pick up things, leave the trash. You're going to pick up bottles and cans and everything that the trash that you might find. Pick it up, put it in a bag, leave the place. Much better than when you found it. One thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be bending down a lot, kneeling down. Now, these are some gardening knee pads that they're cushioned on the back. I've got some that have a plastic front on it for working on carpets and stuff, for installing carpets and stuff, for working on roofs and things like that. Well, this will allow you to bend down, put your knee down without getting your pants soaked, especially like after the snow clears up. You're going to be out digging, and the last thing you need to do is walk around with wet pants. Another thing that you're going to want to get is a spoils bag. Now, I just picked this up at the local Walmart store. It's not too big. It allows me to put all of my stuff in it. Especially, it's got a pocket inside of it. Inside the big pocket, there is a smaller pocket that you can put some of your better finds in if you want to separate those out. And it also allows me to put everything that I have inside, everything except the shovel, of course, inside of the bag, so that when I'm not metal detecting, all my stuff is in one place, and I don't need to go through anything. I don't need to go through a bunch of putting everything together. Everything's in one place because I've got it in my spoils bag. Also, you might want to consider, some people use, in addition to the brush or in place of the brush, a small water bottle, where you can spray a little bit of, like a small spray bottle where you can spray water onto something, and that way you can clean it off as well. Another thing that you might want to consider when you are, everybody's got a phone with them, and obviously you can take that with you, take pictures of what you find, and also you can use, there are several programs that have, like what I do, I take pictures of it, and there's also several programs that you can download, apps that you can install on this that will allow you to track where you found it at. So that is a good thing for me, because a little bit of amateur archaeology, and where I find it, then I've got exact coordinates to where it's been found. It also helps me to locate other areas, especially when you're going over a Civil War battlefield. It gives you that area so that you can tell where things are located at. Another thing that you want to do is, if you've got a park around you, I know that these things have been detected to death, but if you want to check out your local parks, be sure to, no matter when you go, be sure to cover up the holes. Be sure to cut out just a plug, take that out, and locate the object that you've detected, and then fill all that back in. Try and leave it in as good a condition or better than what you found it in. That's why we're picking up trash, so that we can leave it in a better way than what we found it. Also, be sure to check your city ordinances. If you're going someplace like a park or something like that, make sure that there's not a city ordinance against metal detecting in the park. Like in this city, there is not, but in some cities, they don't want you detecting in certain, in city parks, national parks as well. There's a place in Kansas that we went to not long ago, Fort Scott, Kansas. They don't want to, they're doing some archaeological stuff over there the way it is, but they don't want you to do any kind of metal detecting there, even if you're just placing down flags, so that they can recover it. They don't want you doing any metal detecting whatsoever. Also, get permission. Don't think that just because nobody seems to be living around there, you can't see any houses or anything. Find out. Do your research. That is the best way to find anything. Find where old homes have been, things like that. Do your research. Right now, I am researching several places in the state of Missouri to go metal detecting. I am a Civil War history buff, and Missouri was, of all the states, Missouri is only behind Tennessee and Virginia with the most battles during the Civil War. So I am checking into those. Get permission. That's the main thing. Get permission. There are several things that you can download, like this one that is request for permission. It has the property owner's name on this one. It has the property owner's name. It has my name. It has the property address, description of the property that can be entered or searched. Like he only wants this 4 acres of his field done because he's already planted some stuff over in another area. Be sure to look, make sure that it has your purpose, that you're a hobbyist and that you're just there to detect coins, iron relics, jewelry, metal-based buttons, other miscellaneous metal objects is how this is. You're recovering relics from the past, so be sure to make sure that it has all this information as to why you're there. Also, one thing that will help you is absolving the property owner of any kind of responsibility if you break your own equipment or you fall down or something like that. This liability on this one, I have that the hobbyist, which is me, will not hold the property owner responsible for any loss, damage of my equipment or personal injury, or for a claim made by others that may arise from the items found on the owner's property. In other words, I'm not going to hold them responsible if I step into a hole on their property, but you need to be looking for stuff like that anyway. Found items. Now this one says found items ownership. Usually I fill that out after I have gone through the property. It's basically, it says the hobbyist will gain ownership of all items found while metal detecting on the described property unless otherwise noted. And usually what I do is I put everything out on the tailgate of the truck. We both go through it together. There may be some things in there that they want. They may have found something that a ring or something that belongs to a family member or something that was lost while they were having a family get together. It just depends. So I always fill that out at the end of it so that they can have a look at the things that were collected. And it also says on here, property conditions. The hobbyist will leave the property in like condition before metal detecting to the extent that is practical. All holes will be filled in. So if you're out digging, people got the idea that when you're metal detecting, that you're just digging up holes and you're just leaving the holes there. That is not the case. So be sure to make sure that that is on your release form. That way, it covers you as well as the property owner. So make sure that you have release forms. There's plenty of websites out there where you can download this kind of stuff. And also one thing that I forgot to mention on shovels, you want to get something that matches the terrain. Around here, there's a lot of somewhat sandy soil, but it's all topsoil. Obviously, you can use that on a beach, but there are some shovels that are specifically made for sandy areas and beaches that you don't want to use in a farmer's field because of rocks and other things. But just make sure that you get a shovel that matches the general area that you're using. I think that's about it as far as the notes that I had. I just wanted to cover a few things for those who are just starting out in metal detecting. I've been doing it for a number of years. Found quite a few things, quite a few coins, some gold coins, a lot of silver stuff, but I just wanted to cover some of the things for those that are just now starting in the metal detecting hobby. I know some of them have made it into a life's work. They do treasure and stuff like that. But this is just a list of some of the items that you would want for your metal detecting to start with. Like I said, some of these are not necessary, like a pinpointer. That's not necessary. The brush or the water bottle is not necessary. It's just a good thing to have because you can clean the coins off just by rubbing the dirt off of them. But it's a lot easier if you got a brush or something like that. Cell phone, I would say that is necessary, just for the simple fact that especially if you're going by yourself, or somebody that you're going with falls down and gets injured, it's definitely something that you want to have. Most people carry a cell phone with them all the time, so it's not an issue, but it's just something that I thought I would bring up. So a small shovel, a hand shovel, gloves, a spoils bag to put all your finds in, trash bag to put all the junk that you find in there, knee pads to keep your pants in somewhat good shape while you're bending down and digging through the dirt, a brush or water bottle to clean things off. Be sure to get permission and check your city ordinances. That's about the only thing that I can think of that you need to remember, other than to fill in all the holes and leave the property as best as you can. Leave it just as good or better than the way you found it. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and you have a great day.